Hi everyone, and here's another brew day. Very simple this. I'm going to do my usual mashing, which is a kilo of Maris Otter and 250 grams of Vienna malt, but I'm not going to do any hop additions until the very end. I've been trying to figure out what this Whirlpool business is, so I've tried to read online and it's really confusing. So what I'm going to do is basically treat the hops like a tea bag. I'm going to do the normal mash for an hour and then the boil, and then after the boil I'm going to add a tea bag of hops. I'll do 50-50 Amarillo and Citra. I've not decided what timings yet, maybe half an ounce on 30 minutes and then a quarter of an ounce at 15 minutes and a quarter of an ounce at 5 minutes, something like that. And I'm just going to leave it at that and see how it goes. Because I'm not really quite sure what it's all about. So there's the grain, there's the water, and it's time to get going. Okay, so we're at 66 degrees and the mash is in. Give it an hour, wrap it up in my cat blanket, come back in about 20 minutes, check on the temperature again, and then on with the boil next time you see me. So here we are at the end of the hour boil, so I'm just going to turn that off. That is now down to 5 litres, and what I have here is a bit of a tea bag full of Citra and Amarillo hops. There's half an ounce there, so I'm going to hang this off my boil kettle. I'm going to give it a good old whirlpool first and then leave it for 15 minutes. Then I'll come back, add another quarter of an ounce of the mix, and then 5 minutes from the end add the final quarter of an ounce, and then I'll look to cool it down to maybe like 20 degrees, 19-20 degrees for pitching the yeast. So here we go. Okay, so the idea behind whirlpooling, apparently, because I've read something about this now in the last 5 minutes or so, is that you stir it quite vigorously in one direction to get a whirlpool going, and because of something that Albert Einstein talked about, the tea bag effect or the tea leaf effect, all the particles in the wort form into the centre of the sort of vortex of the whirlpool. So you give it a good stir for a minute and a half, and then you leave it for about 20 minutes, half an hour, to settle and let all the particles out of the wort settle out, so you can get a clearer brew. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this a bit more of a stir, and then I'm going to transfer it to my fermentation bucket there, and then cool it in that down to 20 odd degrees, and hopefully should get a nice clear wort out of it. I'll go have to use my auto syphon as well, which is always top fun. So that seems to be going at a good old whack now. This also helps cool it as well. So we'll leave that, and then I'm going to add my first addition of hops in. There we go. So that's my first bit of hops in. I'm going to leave it for 15 minutes or so, and then come back and add the second bit. So whirlpooling, I've sort of figured out, because you're trying to get particulates out of the wort, it should be done after, whilst you're cooling it down. So what I've done is I've just cooled it down. It's now at 20 degrees. So I'm going to give it a good spin, or I have to give it a good spin. I'm going to let it sit for a bit and see if then it clears up a little bit, and I'll siphon it into the fermenter bucket and add me Mangrove Jack's Liberty Bell number 36. So there's some of the wort now. There's the old hydrometer, looking for 1054-ish, which has been 4 out of the last 5. So let's have a quick go. Whoa! Oh my lord! Now, for some reason,
I am at not 10:54 at all. I'm hiding behind my beer here because I'm at 10:62. So 10:62, which is 8 points higher than normal. I'm thinking that because I started with a little bit more water to start with, my bonkers science idea about having somewhere for the sugars to dissolve into has worked a little bit better, and I've got a bit better efficiency because that is definitely 10.6. So if that gets down to 10:10, you're looking at a lot of alcohol there. Getting on for 6.5%, 7% alcohol there. Oh well, it would be a strong Mexican lager. See what it's like when it's done. Hi everyone, so here it is about a week after the brew video, and I've got my brew here. I've just given it a check, and remember it started at 10:62, and I've given it a check, and it's gone down to 10:14, which is 6.7% or something like that. But I don't think, I've not done an iodine test or anything like that, but I don't think that the sugars have been converted to alcohol in it. So what I did was I gave it a bit of a stir as gentle as I could, and I think there's a little bit more work for the yeast to do. So I've exposed it to the air for a little bit, maybe get a bit more oxygen in there, and then resealed it. And you can see on the little what's it there, that has actually been moving again, so it is fermenting again. So I'm not too bothered about oxygen contamination because I think the CO2 the yeast is producing is going to push the oxygen out anyway. And I tried to purge as much of it as I could by pressing the lid down when I started. So as you can see on my thing there, on my bucket, it is Whirlpool, 30 minutes, 0.5 of an ounce of Citra and Amarillo, 15 minutes, 0.25 of an ounce of Citra and Amarillo, and then at 5 minutes, 0.25 of an ounce of Citra and Amarillo. Original gravity of 1064. Was it 64, 62? I checked it today and it's 1014. And then the 31st of the 7th, because it's the 28th of July today, so 31st of July, I suspect it'll all be done, and I'll give it another check then, and that's when I'm going to look to bottle it. Hopefully it'll be down 10:10. We'll have 7% of a beer. And now I did taste it as well, and I think that the whirlpooling is the way to go for me, because boiling the hops for 60 minutes, 45 minutes, 30, that's really, really bitter. Far too bitter for me to taste, to enjoy in any way. So the steeping after the boil seems a much better way for me, I think, because I'm a fan of light, fruity, zesty beers. I'm not after porters and stouts and heavily roasted malty beers. So here it is. It's another couple of days on it yet. But hopefully we'll have something nice to go at and bottle, and then we'll see it in a couple of weeks and we'll do a taste on it.